What's going on, everybody? I'm DomofX, comicreleases.com assistant editor. It's time to talk about all the updates. We've got a couple today to talk about. Alright, the first omnibus that we're going to be talking about is none other than Taylor's Nightwing, which we got a listing of in last year's spring 2025 catalog, so we already knew this beforehand. The thing that I will say before we get into the meat of it is that we are getting this downsized to 624 pages of content, opposed to 752 pages of content that we had earlier, on top of this being effectively renamed, and rightfully so, to Nightwing by Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo Omnibus Volume 1, meaning that officially, from the listing that we do have, we will be getting a Volume 2 of this. Now, there are a couple of things to note before I go on. The first omnibus collects Nightwing 78 to 100, 2021 Annual number 1, Superman Son of Kal-El number 9, and Batman Urban Legends number 10, or material from it, I should rather say. It does not say it collects the 2022 annual, even though that was released right before issue 100 came out. So we are getting a little bit of missing material in this omnibus despite it being downsized. On top of this, there are a couple of issues that this still has to collect. Still to be collected are issues 101 through 118 of Nightwing, along with the 2024 annual, if you don't count the 2022 annual. Now, the problem is, if they collect just these specific 20 issues, you would be looking at around a 550-page omnibus, which doesn't really make sense in this context. I would also suggest putting in Titans issues 1 through 15, of course, the 2023 run, and Titans Beast World 1 through 6, and the reasons are following. Nightwing issues 101 to 104 are effectively a launch into Taylor's Titans run, which does, again, correlate with the Dawn of DC, and it does spin out of Nightwing. On top of that, you have some issues here, specifically with issues 109 and then Titans issues 6 through 7 that already tie in to the Beast World event, and it wouldn't make sense if they didn't throw Beast World in there. Now, if we throw all of these in there, we would be getting a 1,020-page omnibus that could round out to around $125, a big far cry from Omnibus Volume 1. So my question is, are they specifically going to downsize it and just decide to say, let's only do the specific Nightwing stories that we want to publish in here, or are we going to collect all of the other content that just does make sense if you're looking at this from a reader's perspective and viewpoint? It would be nice to have all of it thrown in there so you wouldn't have to get a separate deluxe edition of Taylor's Titans run. On top of that, they don't really do deluxes anymore for these DC books. They're going the standard hardcover route that they have been doing since Infinite Frontier. I can't see them doing anything else, but let me know down in the comment section below what you would rather have. Would you rather have a 550-page omnibus that's around $100 at the same price as Volume 1? Or would you rather have all of that content in a 1,000-ish page omnibus that could round out to $125? Once again, let me know down in the comment section below. Next up, we do have something that I thought was a little bit trivial. They did increase the page count of the Nightwing Rebirth Omnibus to 1,496 pages. It's about to be a big boy, but for $125, that's pretty good price per page count. On top of this, we also have a couple of changes in terms of pricing. We do have Nightwing Volume 1 on with the show. This is the DC All-In Initiative relaunch of Nightwing under the pen of Dexter Soy and Dan Waters on writing. $29.99. Instead, it's going to be $24.99. So $24.99 for the new pricing for the standard size hardcover at 160 pages. And the same goes for the trade paperback, also 160 pages, but it's now $17.99 instead of $19.99. Next up, we have DC vs. Vampires World War V Volume 1. This is now going to be $34.99. On top of that, it is 256 pages in count now for the standard size hardcover. I would wait out for a deluxe personally if I was somebody out there in the audience, but don't let me dictate your buying decisions. Next up, we do have Iron Man Volume 1, the Stark-Roxxon War. This is, of course, the brand new Spencer Wackerman run on Iron Man with Julius Oda on art as well. Once again, so this is being downsized from 144 pages to 120 pages, but it is now also $17.99 instead of $19.99. Next up, we do have all new Venom now into the release date delays. Or this one, I should say, isn't really a delay. It actually is a push forward. We are now getting this on the 12th of August instead of the 19th of August. This is the brand new Al Ewing, Carlos Gomez run on Venom. Next up, we got Black Panther by Reginald Hudlin Omnibus being pushed a week back to the 11th of March as opposed to the 4th of March. In that same manner, in retrospect, we are getting Daredevil by Nocenti and John Romita Jr. also delayed to the 11th of March as opposed to the 4th of March. X-Men Fatal Attractions Omnibus is now being pushed to the 18th of March instead of the 4th of March, and you can say the same for Mark Millar's Ultimate Fantastic Four Omnibus, Volume 1, going to now come out on the 18th of March as opposed to the 4th of March. The Detective Comics number 31 facsimile is now coming out on the 12th of March as opposed to the 26th of February, so if you're a facsimile buyer, there is that for you. And the last omnibus delay I have to talk about is none other than Ghost Rider Danny Ketch Omnibus Volume 2, which is now coming out on the 14th of October instead of the 2nd of September. In this, we also have a delay for one specific variant, and that is the X-Men number 11 RB Silva connecting variant for the 05, the original X-Men. This is now coming out on the 26th of February instead of the 12th of February, so if you're a variant buyer, there is one that is going to be a different release date for that specifically. We do have a delay in another Marvel book, and that is The Thing by Tony Fleecs and Leonard Kirk. Tony Fleecs, the same creator for Stray Dogs. Wonderful writer, but unfortunately, the book will have to take a bit of a head down. This is now coming out on the 21st of May instead of the 5th of March, specifically for issue number 1. And then for issue number 2, we have a delay to the 25th of June instead of the 9th of April. And a couple of changes in terms of the names of these books. I have clipped the description along with the links down somewhere in the bottom so you guys can cross-reference me. The first of which is the DC Compact Edition of Authority Book 1 is now going to be called Authority Relentless. This is, of course, the Brian Hitch and Warren Ellis widescreen book that brought modern comics to modern comics. Postmodern comics. Anyways, it's now being called again Authority Relentless instead of Authority Book 1. Next up, we do have Superman Batman Book 1 by Jeff Loeb, Ed McGuinness, and Michael Turner instead of this DC Compact Edition being called Book 1 like we have seen with American Vampire. This is now going to be called Superman Batman Public Enemies, which I actually don't mind this name change at all. I don't mind either of these name changes. I just do wish, because we now have the American Vampire Book 1, that there was some more consistency along those lines. This literally got delayed a couple of hours after a stream ended, and that is none other than the Grommets trade paperback by Rick Remender, part of the Giant Generator line, which is now coming out on the 16th of April instead of the 12th of March of this year. And then 2 issue delays, the first one of which being Saga number 72. The finale to this arc will now be coming out on the 5th of March instead of the 26th of February. And in that same retrospect, we do get Napalm Lullaby by Bengal and Rick Remender, now coming out on the issue number 9 anyways, coming out on the 5th of March instead of the 19th of February. Alright, a couple of other books to specifically talk about, the first of which is Disney What If. They are doing a whole bunch of one-shots for the Marvel and Disney stuff. If you haven't been paying attention, they have been doing a lot of variants for Amazing Spider-Man with Disney characters from the Mickey line. You're talking about Minnie and Daisy and Donald. They're being Marvel characters now. They're drawing them into weird variants, and they've been doing a lot of one-shots. So they're putting all of these and compiling them into a nice trade paperback. This is going to be $24.99, coming out on the 28th of October this year. And last but not least, we do have a solicitation for All New X-Men by Brian Michael Bendis Omnibus, one of the most overhated X-Men runs, my opinion. I know that a lot of people don't share it, but it is a run that I oddly do enjoy. This is $125, 1,048 pages, collecting All New X-Men issues 1 through 15 and 18 through 41, along with Guardians of the Galaxy issues 11 through 13. They're going to be putting in, hopefully, I don't know where they're going to put in the Battle of the Atom issues, but hopefully we get a reprint of that Battle of the Atom deluxe soon. If you haven't yet, check out our website, comicreleases.com, my and Webhead's love letter to comics, a hotspot where you can finally figure out what's coming out, when, from what place. Our unique upcoming website tracker in the Collected Editions tab makes sure that you're on top of every single collected edition coming out on the market, with release date updates to the minute, from the tiniest graphic novels to the Giant Generator deluxe hardcovers as large as an absolute. Our unique spreadsheet not only gives out the most accurate information out there, but our format also filters, ensure that you can find your books as quickly as possible.
The tracker also gives out links to domestic and international retailers so that you can purchase your comic books at the snap of a finger. We are also proud to host monthly solicitations as per given by the publishers that generously send us information to give to you all. From the Ultimate Universe to the creator-loved Oceans and Universes, we specialize in giving you the most readable format of solicitations without any of the annoying advertisements. If you also donate to our Patreon at just $2 a month, which is less than a coffee at Starbucks, you will receive access to a special watch list dedicated to individually tracking items that are on your wish list, past or present. Place in your tracking number and make sure that these books also not only come in safe, you can even put in special comments on these as well. On top of that, your name will also show up at the end of every single Dom of X video creates as a huge thank you. That is comicreleases.com. For more information, check this out down in the description. If you also want to contact me or Webhead, check the contact forms down in the description or email me down in the description.
Anyways, that is going to be it from me. Let me know in the comment section down below on your thoughts and if you've been affected by any of these releases. And if you think differently than mine on Nightwing by Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo's Omnibus line. This was a pretty big one in terms of surprises in the catalog, and when we talk about DC Infinite Frontier issues, I'm really glad that they were able to put this out, as it has been a really big seller and gotten a lot of people back into the comics medium. That being said, there are a couple of questions I do have as far as the 2 omnibuses for the line. We're going to have a really big, thick Volume 2 or a really thin Volume 2 and Volume 1. Probably might as well just throw everything else in there, but let me know down in the comment section. Let me know what you think specifically of this. But that's going to be it for me. I'm Dom of X. You be you. Take care. Dominate the day wherever you go.